Thank you for landing on Planet Xbox. You are now rocking with the Inner Circle, now the official podcast of XboxMad.net. And this is your podcast for fans by fans, so salute to you, the mighty, mighty X units. I'm your moderator, KOR Straight Murder, with Bmuny and Unified, and together we are the Inner Circle. Now it's time for our TikTok pod shots. Xbox, you're on the clock. This month has been a huge month for the Xbox One platform so far. Finally releasing in second-tier countries should help give Microsoft a boost in September. Though the console may not have sold well in Japan, it seems to be picking up steam with 2 exclusive releases this month that are sure to be some of the best this year for the platform. Highly rated D4 out now from acclaimed director Swery, maker of cult classic Deadly Premonition, and Forza Horizon 2 launching September 30th. Which made its presence felt by many with that outstanding demo they released, which was a "here, take my money now, just take it" moment for myself, as well as many Xbox fans. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella completed the huge acquisition of Mojang this week for approximately $2.5 billion, with Microsoft Finance Department announcing that funds should be recouped by summer of 2015. I had to ask, what the heck is Microsoft going to do with the IP or the trademark that can make them back $2.5 billion in a year's time? As of now, many of us don't know, but with the announcement of Minecraft continuing to be multi-platform, profit from rival companies will help in that recovery. Finally, Rod Ferguson, co-producer of the Gears of War franchise, spoke a little about the next Gears of War game, stressing that it's difficult to bring something new to an established franchise without fans turning on the developers. He called this managing betrayal, making the game new with new features, ways to play, and weapons while also keeping the franchise the same, prompting many Gears enthusiasts to learn a new way of playing Gears while still keeping it familiar. Let's all hope Gears turns out to be a megaton bomb, graphically and gameplay-wise, come 2016. And that's it for our TikTok pod shots. Now it's poll time with Unified.
What's up, everybody? It's TiC Podcast Poll Time, Xbox family. Want to give a shout out to all our fellow Inner Circle followers and listeners. We value your feedback, and we always thank you for taking your time to give it to us. Time to go over the poll results. As you know, we did our first ever inaugural Inner Circle Best of Gamescom Awards, and here are the results. First up, Best Action Adventure Game. Ding, 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 Quantum Break won that. Best Sports Game. It was a dead toss-up between FIFA 15 and NBA 2K15. You can't go wrong with either choice. Totally understandable. Best Racing Game was Forza Horizon 2. Best RPG was Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Best Shooter, Halo Master Chief Collection. Best Indie, Ori and the Blind Forest. And Best Game of Show was Quantum Break. Beat out Halo. Beat out the Halo juggernaut. That's awesome. So that just goes to show you, after Gamescom, Quantum Break definitely looks really, really good and is starting to get really popular with fans. Finally, the poll topic that we always ask you guys is, what shall the Inner Circle talk about in our next podcast? The winner of that was Microsoft buying Mojang.
Awesome. So today, our fan topic obviously is the Mojang acquisition by Microsoft for $2.5 billion. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like some other people initially, that why would Microsoft spend $2.5 billion on Mojang? Like, I don't understand that concept, because with you needing first-party studios and first-party games to lead the way to try to make a comeback in this generation, even though they do have quality titles coming out this fall and some quality titles coming out next year, along with unannounced games from unannounced studios, you still could have used $2.5 billion on other things. However, the reality of it is that this is not an acquisition by Xbox. This is an acquisition by the CEO of Microsoft and this acquisition is to benefit Microsoft as a whole. Yes, the games division and the console division will benefit from that, but it's bigger than that. So I want to focus on what are your guys' thoughts on the Mojang acquisition, the trademark acquisition of Minecraft, and also the fact that Minecraft will not be exclusive, according to Satya and Phil Spencer. It won't be exclusive. They will keep it multi-platform. How can this title benefit Xbox in the long run when they actually own the studio now and the IP? Let's start with
as far as the actual purchase, man, it's good for Microsoft. I mean, it doesn't benefit me at all. I mean, I could care less about Minecraft and like that whole world of Minecraft. Like my kids get into that, but me personally, that's not my thing. But as far as them like keeping it multi-plat, I think that's a good idea. You got to be able to make money wherever you can, and I mean, if it's going to sell on PC, if it's going to sell on PlayStation, why not capture those dollars? I mean, especially when you can trademark that and you can start coming out with, you might have Minecraft board games, Minecraft Legos. You know what I'm saying? All the Minecraft merchandise.
There is going to be
come out with. So, I mean, you can capitalize on just that name anywhere. So,
right.
I mean, it's a good acquisition as far as that goes. Mm-hmm. But as far as Minecraft, the game, I could care less.
Gotcha. Unified?
Well, I was going to add to what he was saying.
Right.
With Mojang, there was already, before this acquisition, talks about a movie.
Right.
I don't know if you guys were aware of that. Already talks about a movie and already talks with Lego about making toy line. So, Microsoft, in my opinion, this is a good move for them from a business standpoint, purely. Like you said, you guys don't sound like you're the biggest fans of Minecraft. I'm not personally either. I'm trying to get into it, but I'm not feeling it. But I can understand the appeal for the younger generation. But yeah, I mean, the biggest deal is the whole in-game. Plus, like you said, is more of a Microsoft purchase than an Xbox purchase. So, this is going to expand probably to definitely all the PC, the mobile platforms. They're going to spread this game as far as they can. And they're going to continue support for PlayStation. And I think the Vita version is still going to be made, from what Phil Spencer said, which, I think that's going to win PR, man. I think that's a good PR move as well on Phil's part to come out and say that they're still going to do that and still going to support it with fresh content. And even, I think I don't know if they mentioned sequels would still come multi-platform. I hadn't went that far quite yet, so we'll see what happens when it gets around to that.
Right.
But as it is, this is nothing but a good move financially for Microsoft because they will get a return profit on this investment. There's no doubt about that. So
right. I looked at that first purchase when I first saw it, and I said for $2 billion. I thought to myself, I said, that's crazy. $2 billion for Minecraft. Did you start looking at it from a profit perspective in what Microsoft gains from that? The third highest selling game of all time, launched across Xbox platforms, PlayStation platforms, PC platforms, soon to be Windows platforms, and now the PS Vita platform. That is complete profit in Microsoft's pocket. When you start making money from rivals, that says something. That says a lot. And you will benefit from that. Children love Minecraft like they love the Lego game. They find it very exciting, using the blocks and things like that, just like with Legos. And like you said, you look at it from a trademark perspective, you got Minecraft toys. You have the Minecraft movie. You have, they've already said that they will implement these things in schools to teach the younger generation. For whatever reasons, whether it's architecture, whether it's mathematics, whether it's to just show them how to build things or use blocks and shapes and measurements. It's a great deal for Microsoft. And, you know, the only way I feel that they can benefit from this is exactly what they tried to do with Conquer in Project Spark, and is to use their IPs and give Xbox exclusive game worlds. They already have Halo, right?
Yep. That's a great point, man.
Yeah, they already have Halo. You throw in a Banjo world, you throw in a Conquer world, you know, you throw in a Blinks world. Just go back to some of their older IPs. What would be awesome if you had a Gears world? I look at all the creative things that they did with Minecraft throughout the years. You had being hunted down by the Predator, you know, and people were just building these giant, you know, Death Stars and castles and things like that. I just think that they have an opportunity to really profit, and all that money is going to go back right into the Xbox division and right into Microsoft, and I guarantee you that made the shareholders very happy. So Destiny recently released, and obviously if I could say, yes, it was the most hyped game of the year. The funny thing about it is that Bmuny had posted a question on Twitter that I have responded to. And his question was, you know, well, whose fault is it? Like, where is the hype being generated? Is it being generated by the developers? Is it being generated by the journalists? Or is it being generated by the fans that, you know, their own hype, probably from past games? Oh, it's Bungie. It's going to be like Halo, and Halo is one of the greatest first-person shooters of all time, you know, one of those type of things. And I responded to that saying that I felt like it was the devs and the journalists, because they put so much information out there. And as a gamer, you can only imagine, because you don't have a controller, you don't play it. So you only could imagine what these guys are saying. And in your head, obviously, it always gets blown out of proportion because you always think beyond what they're actually talking about. And the game releases, and though it sells like hotcakes, it bombs in the reviews. I mean, it bombs pretty bad. So we'll start with B and what his thoughts are on Destiny and whether or not he believes that the reviews are warranted.
After Destiny came out and the reviews started rolling out, and you know, you start seeing reviews, and you know, they're at the lower tier of what reviews are. You see some 6s. I even saw like a 5.5, 7s, and I was just like, "What? Like, where do these reviewers come from?"
Right.
Because like, if you can give Destiny like a 5.5 or a 6, and you know, a indie game gets like that same, you know what I'm saying, score, then you know, what are we really comparing the game to?
Right.
Is my question. Like, where's the bar set at?
Right.
When you give a game, you know, a big AAA game, a 6 like that, and you know, it'll get the same score as an indie game. Like, I don't understand that. And I think that's probably my biggest issue as far as reviews and stuff like Metacritic. You know, because you hear all these gamers and they say like, oh well, I base all my purchases off of reviews or like what the Metacritic score is.
Right.
And then you look at the Metacritic score, and there's not that many games that are over a 90. And I was actually talking to one gamer, I'm not going to mention his name, but he said that he only buys games that are over a 90.
Wow.
Metacritic score. So then I asked him, like, well, how many games do you have? Because we can go to Metacritic right now, and I can show you there's only like
there's only
5 or 6 games
exactly
that are over, you know what I'm saying,
right.
a 90. So if you're a true gamer, what games are you playing?
Right.
If you only play games that are over 90.
Right.
So I mean, I think stuff like that is very annoying. But as far as my view on Destiny, I would probably give it maybe an 8. I mean, it definitely does have some issues. It does get really repetitive, but you know what I'm saying? If you take the game for what it is, and if you played the beta and you kind of knew what to expect, and you know what I'm saying, that's how I went into the game. I knew, you know what I'm saying, what to expect. I felt like, you know, the game did what it was supposed to do. I think the story is really dry. It doesn't really, you know, grab you or draw you into the game. But as far as the activities in the game, I mean, they give you the most options out of any game that we played this year. You know, you can play the story by yourself. You can play it co-op. The multiplayer aspect of it is pretty solid. And then you have, you know, the strike missions and the Glass of Vault, or the Vault of Glass just came out. So, I mean, they're keeping the activities going, and that's what you really want from a game that you spend $60 on. You don't want it to be over in the first 20 hours of you playing it. So as long as they keep the content going, man, that's all we can really ask for.
Right. Mike?
I like Destiny, guys. Actually, I like it. You know, I was looking at reviews and stuff like that before I made the commitment to go pick it up at GameStop. But, you know, I saw Metacritic. Now, I'm not someone who really relies on Metacritic, but when I saw the user score versus the actual score, you know, the score from the media, yeah, it was 7.5 or 7.6, and that's where it's sitting at right now from what I saw, but still with the user just like 6.4. And when you look at that, man, it's completely broken. Something's broken. Something's not right. If I'm looking at it, though, I would say the game steers more towards the 7s, 8 range than it does the 6 range. So I think the users were clearly, I don't know if it was like some kind of stupid fanboy war going on. Because if you look at the Xbox One version of it, it's averaging like a 5 something. Amongst users, and then on the PS4 it's like 6 something. I think there's some stupid war going on or something. So
no, I actually touch on that. I have a theory on that though.
Yeah.
Go ahead though.
Yeah. But you know, none of that matters, man. We're doing reviews now. So that's all that matters. We don't really care about, you know, what Metacritic says, what IGN says, or any of the other stuff. We just care about what we say at this point. You know, us, the fans. And I want to touch on that. Just want to throw this shout out to Scotty Jim, our newest team member that's going to come on and do reviews for us.
Games. It's what drives us. It's what connects us. It's what challenges us. Here at the Inner Circle, we're about to start reviewing games. From new titles to classics you might have let slip by. Here, you will only get independent and honest reviews.
So big shout out to him, and we're definitely glad to have you. And just stay tuned for his reviews. To be posting on Watch Dogs reviews soon, and then he's going to do a D4 this coming Wednesday. And then on Friday, he's going to review EA Access. Just wanted to throw that out there, though. But yeah, Destiny for me is it's a buy for me. So yeah.
Well, you know, I'm a big RPG head, obviously, and I went in with low expectations, so I wasn't disappointed too much by the game. I think the reason why the score is higher on PlayStation, like the how can I say it? The gamer score is higher than the Xbox score is because Xbox fans compare it to Halo. That's exactly what they do. They look at Bungie and they just compare it to Halo, and they see everything that's right with Halo and everything that's wrong with Destiny. And if I can give Destiny one word to describe it, the word would be fixable. There's a lot of things wrong with the game and a lot of things broken in the game, but it can all be fixable. It's all fixable. It can all be fixed. And I think because of that, as an RPG head, when you have a loot system, they might have, you know, and you might not agree with this, but they might have the worst loot system in any loot game I've ever played. From the multiplayer to the open world, it's cool when you get an exotic item or a legendary. But if I'm playing multiplayer and I just finished with a 9.0 KD and the kid finishes with a 0.8 and he gets a legendary and I get nothing, that's a problem. That's a problem. If I have to level up my Cryptarch to get better loot, that's a problem, especially if I'm a high level and the loot that I get is lower level to me? It's not even better than the loot that I already have. The story seems soulless, kind of like what Bmuny was saying. Everything about the game screams Halo. The way the devils move are just like Elite. You have a main character and a little spark like Master Chief and Cortana. The Cabal characters, and that's a spoiler, guys. This is a spoiler if you haven't gotten that far on Mars. The Cabal characters are literally hunters, like in Halo. Big hulking characters that can jump and fire heavy weapons. The game screams Halo, but doesn't get anything exactly like Halo right, other than the shooting mechanics. And the reason why I keep going back for more, even though I find the game mediocre, I give it like a 7, is because for some apparent reason, I'm addicted to the thing that I hate the most, which is the loot system. It's so hypocritical, but I'm addicted to it because I'm building this character. I want to get all my armor maxed out, and I want to try to get the best loot. And then I play PvP because I'm an OP character with my hunter in my clan. We're always on PvP, and that's what we get most of our loot for, and we wreck. So I'm always trying to just get a more powerful character, especially when the what's it called, the banner thing comes out, where
Iron Banner. Iron Banner, yeah.
When an Iron Banner comes out, that's based on whatever your rank is. It's not scaled up like in regular PvP. So if you're an OP character going against some level 2, can't be level 2 playing PvP, some level 7s or some level 8s, the level 8s are just going to get squashed. So, I look forward to the Iron Banner whenever that happens, but, if I had to get the game, I would give it a buy, because as a shooter, as a game, it's very fun. It really is. As a social MMO game, it fails in every way. No area chat. You can only team up with people that you know. It's a lot. I don't want to get too much into detail into it. We have reviews coming, but yeah, it's a lot that can be fixed with the game, and I hope they do that over the next year. So finally, just to quickly touch on Microsoft's release in Japan. According to the Japanese release charts, the Xbox One is the worst selling Xbox console in Japan ever. They came out at launch with 24,000 consoles, followed up the next week with I think about 3,000 consoles sold. And then the Tokyo Game Show just didn't show anything that we were expecting, and I see why they didn't go to the show. They just didn't have anything ready. I'm sure they have Japanese games in the works. They just didn't have anything ready. It seems like they have more Chinese games in the works than they do Japanese games. So, what are your thoughts on Microsoft in Japan? Do you think they should just finally just give up on Japan and pull out? Or do you think they have to stay in Japan to continue to get Japanese game developer support?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Mike?
Well, the last thing you just said is the reason why maybe they should stay in Japan, because maybe if they pull out, they'll lose some of that Japanese support, coming east. But my thing is, man, is if you're not really moving consoles. I mean, you didn't get that killer Monster Hunter. I was hoping that maybe they were going to announce a bombshell like Monster Hunter Ultimate or something's coming, like even a remastered version's better than nothing. I mean, coming to Xbox One, but no such thing happened, and TGS just seemed really sparse. With that being said, I mean, it's just it might be more beneficial to Microsoft to pull out of Japan and just cut their losses.
Right. Brandon, your thoughts?
For me, this is like the biggest head scratcher in the world, because I don't understand how earlier in the year they're like, oh, we have all these Japanese devs who are signed on to Microsoft. Japanese games are coming. And then a couple weeks ago, they're like, oh, well, we're not even going to have a keynote at TGS. Like, well, what was the purpose of saying that you had all these Japanese devs on deck and that games were coming? Because TGS is about games from Japan.
Right.
So where were the games at? I don't understand. And then you release in Japan with no games that are dedicated to the Japanese fan base.
Right.
Which is another head scratcher. Like, I don't understand like what their intention was as far as releasing in Japan with no Japanese games.
Right.
I mean, like when you look at what they did before when they released in Japan and they released with the Monster Hunter game, even though it came to the West kind of late, it still was big in Japan, and I don't understand why they couldn't spend some money going after Japanese devs to get some of those games ported to the Xbox One.
Right.
Because that could have been the easiest seller.
Right.
To grab the Japanese fan. So hopefully they definitely, learn their lesson and can get things right for next year.
Right.
Because this was a huge disappointment for, all that talking they were doing, and then we get nothing.
Right. I feel like Microsoft has been a step behind this year when it comes to games. Step behind the indies with PlayStation, a step behind on the SDK kits, and a step behind on Japan. Clearly, they weren't meant to launch this year. Clearly, they were meant to launch this year, and they were not meant to launch last year. And they've just been playing catch up ever since, and they're doing a great job of it. Don't get me wrong. The numbers are steadily growing. If you look at the sales over the last couple of months, they have increased every month, including last month. They increased. So they're going up, and I think holiday season is going to be good for them. But Japan was, to me, a utter failure. First of all, they released D4 like you throw tissue in the toilet. And the game is a hit, but it's like, dude, who knew? If I wasn't on Twitter and Swery wasn't like, hey, the game is out tomorrow, I would have never known D4 was on there unless I hit the store. There was no advertisements. Right. There was nothing said about the game. And it's a successful game. It's one of the highest rated games. Not only is it one of the highest rated games, it's a Connect game that does have controller support, but it's one of the highest rated Connect games on the Xbox, on any Xbox. And that's something that they should be shouting from the rooftops, especially when you remove the Connect and you have 2 SKUs and you want to actually move those units, those Connect units. So I don't know. I think that's a fiasco right there. They clearly have Japanese devs. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna have those games next year. The bottom line is that at the end of the day, Microsoft is definitely gonna have Japanese support. Scalebound is supposed to be that Monster Hunter. They actually spoke about that. Platinum Games, Kamaya, they spoke about it, and he said exactly what we wanted to hear. It is about the relationship between humans and dragons, and the dragons aren't treated like pets. They are actually, there is a bond that is going to be built in this game. It's going to be open world, it's going to be large, and you're going to be battling giant monsters in combination with your dragon companions. So I really look forward to that. So this might be better than Monster Hunter. It's going to take some time to get it to that point, but this might be better than Monster Hunter. It might be the Monster Hunter that Microsoft needs to move units in Japan. And so far, Platinum has not done wrong, because Bayonetta just came out and it's getting 9s across the board. So I think they'll be okay. But yes, this year was a failure, and hopefully, I think they need to stay in Japan to continue to have Japanese support, and just next year, just lower their expectations. You're not going to move units like PlayStation. You're definitely not going to move units like Nintendo. But as long as you have a presence in Japan, I think that's enough for Japanese devs to say, hey, we still have to make games for the console and to make sales in the West, because there's a lot of Xbox gamers, even though people think that Xbox gamers don't like Japanese games or Japanese devs, there are a lot of us that really want to support Japanese games on Xbox and love those RPGs and those quirky Japanese style games. So, but that's it for our show tonight. Any final words before we head out of here? Let's start with you, Unified.
Nah, man. I'm pretty much straight on everything I've said. If anything, I would say, hey, everybody, Just keep listening to the podcast.
Brandon, what are your thoughts?
You mentioned the Connect, man. I definitely got to throw this out there. All of my 2K heads, if you are into my player, you can scan your face in with the Connect this year.
Yes, you
and
can.
into your my player, so that will be huge. So if you don't got a Connect, get you one, because it's about to get serious on 2K this year.
Now, is that
but other than that,
is that exclusive to Xbox, or will that also be on Sony's?
No, it's
on the PlayStation as well.
Okay.
It's on Sony and Xbox.
Gotcha.
But everybody get ready, because it's about to get serious on 2K this year. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't got to Connect, get one. You know what I mean?
Brandon's gonna be in it. Brandon's gonna be in the game dunking on people.
Y'all gonna know who it is, man.
That's what's up. It's gonna be crazy. And that's it for our show this week. Stay tuned as we release new episodes every other Friday night or Saturday morning with the latest fan topics, shout-outs, Xbox fan guests, rumors, and opinions. And of course, check me out weekly for Straight Pod Shots, where I do a small show on what the buzz is in the game industry, along with TiC reviews hosted by Scotty Jim. Thank you for listening and for your support. Please comment and subscribe. For the fans, by the fans, we're off this planet. Peace.